Hi, hello, hey. In this video, I'm going to be showing you my favorite art supplies. I've wanted to do this video for literally years, so I'm really excited. I never done it though because I was like, nobody asked, so I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But I've decided to try uploading weekly, and to do that, I need to do some low effort videos. So this is it. Also, it's raining outside and I have the window open, so I don't know if you can hear it, but sounds really nice to me. This is my first category. These are art tools. I wasn't gonna add this category, but you know what? They're important, even though they're never talked about. Also, I'm gonna try to talk fast so this video is not super long. So, stainless steel scissors. I love these. I've had these since like middle school, I think, and maybe even such elementary school, and they're still super sharp. It's funny, my dad like made fun of me when he was like, you have stainless steel scissors? And I was like, yes, they're so good. Yeah, anyway. This, I don't remember exactly what this is called, but it's just like a pencil blending tool that I use all the time for like graphite pencils. Don't know what it's called though, but it's a good tool. We got binder clips. I got these off Amazon and I got like, I don't know, like 5 of them or something. Actually, I think I have 5 of them on my desk, but I think I actually have a couple more in a drawer or something. But yeah, these are very helpful. Here we have washi tape. I actually haven't used washi tape in a long time, but I used to use these for every painting to like mask off the edges. Oh yeah, also these are for like, you know, holding sketchbook pages together to keep it open. You know, I feel like that's self-explanatory, but you know, I'll tell you about it anyway. Got a good old-fashioned ruler. These are important, okay? They deserve the credit. Here we have my lovely paint rag. I will say though, if I was using like oil paint or something, I'd probably choose a paper towel or like acrylic. I actually do use acrylic with these because I don't use acrylic very often, but if I was using acrylic all the time, I'd probably just use a paper towel. But watercolor doesn't like dry down all hard, so it's actually still kind of soft. But if it was acrylic, then it would like get stuck together and stuff, so yeah. This is the star of the show. I use this with my water jar. Oh yeah, there's a little paint puck down there. I do remember what that's called. And that's like clean your brushes off easier. And it does actually work. It's really helpful for gouache watercolor. You don't really need it, but with gouache it is nice. Yeah, so I use this for like re-wetting paint and stuff. I'll just like, you know, I'm not gonna actually get it wet, but yeah, this is really helpful. And I got like, I think it's a pack of like 50 or something off Amazon because they didn't have a smaller one. Like you couldn't just buy individual ones for some reason. Probably can at the art store, but I didn't do that. And I was like, how am I gonna go through 50 of these? But they actually do break eventually, like this part, and they'll start leaking. So I think I've gone through about like 4 or something. So this is my sharpener, and these are the metal ones because these are the best ones I've ever tried, and they don't break the pencils as much, and they're supposed to stay sharp for longer, which they are still, I think, as sharp as when I got them. So yeah, I couldn't find ones that came in like a pencil sharpener, so I just used this like jam lid. And I used to use it to put like glitter in while I was drawing. So it's a very pretty gem lid. Yeah, and then this is for my ink. It's not that exciting, but you might have seen me use this in a couple ink videos, but I'll just put ink in there and then I'll use a brush. Yeah. And then here we have, I actually haven't used this in a while, but this is just a plate that I use for paint. I love ceramic mixing palettes. It's just like so smooth, and I really like using them. but you can also just use a plate. And I kind of like using a plate better because there's no sections. So like if you have a color over here that you want to like mix into this color, you can just like move it over really easily. Yeah, so these are the best. Okay, let's do a less boring category, which is pencils and erasers. I'll start out with my erasers. So first we have a kneaded eraser, and I actually don't remember the name of this brand, but most kneaded erasers are kind of the same. I know there's the Faber-Castell ones, which kind of feel the same as this one, and those are just as good. But I think this one I got off Amazon. It's this brand that has like black and white kneaded erasers, and they are my favorite because you get like a pack of them, and I think they're cheaper than the Faber-Castell ones. And then this is actually this eraser, oops, and it is my favorite. You can see mine's really small, and I put tape over this part, so you know it looked prettier. It's kind of come off. And I also started cutting it as the eraser got smaller, but now it's just too small. It doesn't even like fit in it anymore. This eraser has lasted me a really long time though. I think I got this around the same time I started my channel, and it's still alive, so that's pretty good. And then this I also got off of Amazon just because I couldn't find this in any art stores near me. But this is a pencil, or yeah, it's a pencil. This is an eraser in the pencil. So you can sharpen it and you can get like a really small point. Pencils. So these are my favorite pencil. These are the Prismacolor Color Erase pencils. They actually stopped selling these individually, although you can still get them in art stores individually, kind of. So I was so mad when that happened, but you can still buy them individually, I think, so I'm not really sure how that works, but it's harder to get them individually now. But you can still buy them in sets, which is good, but it's slightly annoying because these three colors are the ones I use the most. And the sets have like a black and a white and like all the other colors, and the white is like useless, so I'm not really sure what the point of that is. Like, I don't want the white. I just want the pinks and the purples. Okay, more pencils. So I got this one recently, and I actually really like this. It's just an H pencil, and I think I've decided that H is my favorite type of lead. I used to use 2H because I heard that was the best for using watercolor over it because it wouldn't like smudge, but H is the same way, and it like erases better, I think. So yeah, I've decided this is my favorite. Yeah, I mean the brand of like pencil doesn't really matter, just H pencils. And then this one is a 2B. And I like using these together. I'll do like a sketch with this, and then I'll use this to get like the darker areas, like basically to do line art with a pencil, because it's so much darker. And then so we'll do this one next. This is a watercolor pencil from Prismacolor. I got a couple of these, and they're my favorite for sketching. Watercolor pencils are like supposed to be, and they slightly are. They're easier to erase than normal pencils. Not as easy as these ones, but they're slightly more erasable. And I really like using colored pencils for sketching, even if they're not erasable. They're just like so soft. I love using them for sketching, so I'll use them in my sketchbook all the time. And yeah, watercolor pencils are probably the best for that. Now we have mechanical pencils. So these two are pink, so you know that's probably why they're my favorite. Yeah, honestly, I kind of wish the lead in these was switched, because this one is the harder lead, so it's lighter, and then this one is the softer lead. And I could get different lead for these, which I probably should, because it would be really nice if this was lighter, because it's thicker. This is 0.7 and this is 0.5, so I could like sketch with this and then like go over with like the tiny one that would be darker. So That would be really nice, but that's not the case, so it's a little messed up. Yeah, this one breaks a lot easier, so I'll use this for like smaller drawings since the lead is smaller. And then if I don't want my pencil to break, I will use this one. And then I got this recently, but it's like the same thickness of lead, maybe a little thicker than the ones that are in a pencil, but it's like a mechanical pencil. So this one's really fun. Pens. So these are the classic, the Micron pen. And I think I have these in like, maybe like every color they sell them in. Almost. Actually, I think they might have like a yellow or something. I don't think I have that. Do they have a yellow? I don't know. But these are their 3 different shades of brown, and they're black. And I haven't used these as much, but I used to use the dark brown all the time. And this one is my favorite. It's like a red brown, but they only have this in like 2 sizes, I think, which is the 0.5 and then this size. So this is my favorite, but they don't have these in like the normal sizes, which is annoying. Like I think 0.3 is like the basic one that everyone uses, and they don't have that in 0.3, so I have to use 0.5, which is too thick. Yeah, anyway, so these are the basic ones. They're waterproof and archival. I will say these, I've had problems with these like smearing when I use marker on top of them, which is really annoying. I feel like I didn't used to have that problem, but yeah. I really like these for watercolor though, because they don't smear when I put watercolor on top. And then these are dip pens. This is a normal dip pen, and then this one is a glass dip pen. I think these are more common for writing, but I really like these for drawing because it's supposed to hold more ink. Because it kind of like, you put the ink like all the way up here, and I think it does hold more ink than like this one. And it's also like smoother. Like these ones are really like scratchy, like you can like hear it, but this one's really smooth. Okay, well, it did kind of sound scratchy on the table, but the table's just dramatic, so, you know, ignore that. Yeah, so I do like this one better. The lines are a lot thicker on these than on this, and also this, most dip pens, it'll have like a thing, so if you press down, you can get like a smaller and wider, oh my god, line. Yeah. So these are more versatile and probably like technically better for drawing, but I like the glass ones better. Also, I had this pink glass dip pen, but then I dropped it. So I got this one, and the glass part is only this. So I was like, maybe this will be safe if I drop it. That was my thought process. Next we have brush pens. This is a little out of order. Brush pens. So these 2 are the most important / I was gonna say main attractions of the show. Like, what am I talking about? These ones are my favorite. These ones are all not waterproof. I went through this phase where I was buying all these brush pens at the art store just to like try them all out, be like, which one's the best? It doesn't really matter, and none of these are waterproof, so that's annoying. But if I'm just using like something in my sketchbook where I'm not gonna like paint over it or something, or if I'm like doing something with watercolor and I can't get my like black watercolor dark enough, I'll use one of like the not waterproof ones at the end of the painting. So yeah, I'll just grab one of these. Doesn't really matter which one. And then these 2 are my favorite pens probably. This one is my absolute favorite pen. Although I think this one, there's like 2 different ones. There's like where the brush is like softer and where the brush is like harder. And I'm actually not sure which one the blue one is. I think the blue one is the harder one. But the blue one is like blue and sparkly, and it's my favorite. But I think that one is in my travel backpack, and I think I had another one on my desk, but it must have like dried out or something, because I only have this one. which is like pretty much the same thing. It's like the same brand and the same ink, but the nib is slightly different, so I don't like it as much. Yeah, the blue one is my favorite, but I don't have one of those right now. So anyway, this is the Pocket Pentel brush pen. The ink in here is waterproof, which is why I use it. Oh yeah, and the ink in here is waterproof too, so that's also why I use this one. But yeah, I used to use this one a lot more than I do. It's really hard to get a super thin line with this, so I don't use it very often. Normally, if I'm doing line art with a brush, I'll just use like an actual brush and not like a brush pen, but I used to use brush pens. Okay, this is more, actually wait, not this one. Copic multi-liner. These ones, I think, do better with marker over top, which, you know, they are Copic, so they're supposed to do that. This is in the color Wine, and I think these like discontinued or something, because they were really hard to get, and I couldn't buy them in a set. Normally the Copic multi-liners you buy in like a set of 4. I had to buy them like individually, and like one of them, like I ordered it and one of them like arrived to dry, and it was just like really weird. So I don't know like if they discontinued these or what, but these are my favorite inking color. Like good old red, brown, and like this color. I don't know, wine, should I just call it wine? I don't know, muted dark pink is my favorite. So hope they didn't discontinue these when I run out. I'm gonna want another one. And then this is so random, but this is like the smoothest fountain pen I've ever used. I have a black one and a blue one, and it's like, I don't know like why it's so smooth, but it's so smooth. And a lot of pens, they'll have trouble going over like pencil and watercolor sometimes, which is weird. Like pencil makes sense, but like watercolor and gouache is just like, especially with gouache, it's so annoying not being able to go over it. Like the microns, they're so picky. They will not go over gouache, and sometimes they won't even go over watercolor, which really annoys me because watercolor is like literally smooth, so I don't get it. But this goes over like any medium without problems, so I like this one. I doubt it's archival, and I don't think it's waterproof, but it's very smooth, so it's good. And then these two are really nice for sketching. This is just like basic ballpoint pen. I know like everyone uses these for sketching, and I do too. They're just super smooth. Yeah, and then I don't really know the, oh, there's the brand. I have a bunch of different colors of these, and I just really like them for like sketching and stuff, or for like adding like a background in my sketchbook. I have a feeling this video is going to be really long, so sorry about that. Yeah, now we have inks and final detail stuff, I guess. So this is the same color pretty much as this one, and this is just like the mixed version. I think it's just these two colors and maybe a little bit of their purple mixed in too. Yeah, I use this all the time. It's my favorite inking color. Yeah, and then this is that red, brown, in ink form. Yeah, and if you're like, why do you have a pen version and an ink version? Well, I actually use these more than the pens. I used to pretty much only use fine liners for line art, but I like to actually lately use inks better. You just get like so much more ink in here, like it won't run out. And also you can decide if you want to use like what kind of dip pen or if you want to use a brush. And then here we have little containers of black and white gouache. I go through so much of this that I got myself a giant tube of white gouache. Yeah, and the black gouache is the same brand. Also, I really need to use the black gouache like more for my blacks in the paintings, because I use these the most, and these are actually shiny when they dry, and gouache is matte, and watercolor is also matte. So if I use these for the blacks, it's a lot harder to photograph, and also it'll be shiny in like some random spots, but then like the rest of like the painting won't be shiny, so it looks really weird. So I'm gonna try to use this more. Brushes. I promise after this we'll get to the most exciting category, which is paints. Okay, so honestly, most of these, I have a bunch of other sizes in the same brand. But this one is my all-time favorite. Okay, just put this here so it stops moving. All-time favorite brush. It's a Princeton, like what's this? Snap brush. It's a Princeton snap brush in size 3/0, 3.0. And it's my little tiny detailed brush. When I use gouache, I use this one to do the highlights. I use this one to do line art if I'm using inks. It is my tiny brush. It gets so much use. I actually had to buy another one recently because my last one, the tip just like would not hold its shape anymore and I couldn't get straight lines. So, RIP. I don't use these super often, but these are just like cheap brushes I got off Amazon, and they're not as soft as my other brushes. But yeah, I use these sometimes if I want, like, I don't know, there to be less paint in the bristles, because they're really soft ones. They're like these. They hold a lot of paint and a lot of water, especially the big ones. It's crazy how much water this brush will hold. So if I want my brush to hold not as much water, I'll use one of these. Yeah, this is one of my favorite brushes. It's really nice for doing backgrounds because I can get like thick strokes, but then since it also has a point, I can get like thin stuff. So if I'm doing a background where I have to like go around things, like, you know, butterflies or clouds or something, I can easily do that. And then these two are Derwent brushes. Yeah, and they're squirrel hair. I think they're mixed with synthetic and squirrel hair. I'm pretty sure these ones are just a ripoff of the silver black velvet brushes, which I didn't know when I got these. I assumed they were the same brand, but they're not. So these ones are slightly better, but I'm more precious with them, so I use these ones probably more because I'm scared to use my silver black velvet brushes. But these are my favorite brushes, and since I've got these, I just can't use any other brush. They're just the best. They're so soft, and they change the watercolor game. But yeah, also with softer brushes, one of the things that's really nice about them too is if you're using like a harder brush like this one, these actually will lift the paint a lot easier. So these ones, and they're just so nice. They hold more paint. Like if I'm painting with these, I constantly have to dip in the paint and then go on the painting, like so often. And these, I don't have to do that, and I can get like, to say thinner lines, actually, I don't know if that's right, but yeah, they help the paint from lifting and they hold more water, so yeah. And then this one, I'll just do this one. This is actually the same one as this. It's a Princeton snap brush. These ones are really cheap, and I can get these at like every art store where I am. So these were like my OG paint brushes. They're supposed to be for acrylic and watercolor. I think the bristles are a little bit too hard for watercolor, but you know what they're perfect for? It's gouache. There are so many paintbrushes where they advertise them as acrylic and watercolor brushes, but like they should just call them gouache paintbrushes because like that's what they are. Yeah, so I love these for gouache. So I still use these all the time, but I don't use them for watercolor anymore. But you know, if you're just starting out, like you want to use these for watercolor and like other mediums, then like. Also, the difference between these two is I will say these are probably better for beginners because they're easier to get a thinner line. It's easier to be more like precise with these since these hold so much water and since they're so soft. If you like press, like it's easy to like press too hard. You have to be very like, I don't know, delicate with them, I guess. Yeah, and then these are my other favorite detailed brushes. It's another Princeton brush, Princeton round. And then, oh, another Princeton brush. Yeah, I don't think I have any other like Do I have any other fancy Princeton ones? I don't know. I've never actually thought about this, but I bet these are like the student grade version of these or something. I don't know, because the prices between these two are a lot different. This is my other favorite detail brush, and I think I got this, oh never mind, I was gonna say off Amazon, but no, I think I actually got this at an art store. Yeah, I really like the size of this one too. I think these two are pretty much the same size. Oh, I probably should be saying the sizes. This is size 2, size 1, and this is also size 1. And then this one is size 4. This is one of my most used brushes, is this size. Both of these, they're both size 4. So size 4 is my favorite. And then we have 2 little liner brushes here. I think I got this one and I like forgot that I had this one. So I don't really know why I have 2 of these when they're pretty much the same thing. But liner brushes are so nice for like straight lines. So that is my favorite thing. Like for doing like hair or like, you know, just like straight lines. I don't know why I can explain what a straight line is, but pretty much just like any like long line. It doesn't have to be like straight, but as long as it's not like circular, then it's good. Now we got colored pencils. Hey. So these, ignore like the box, but these are actually the Prismacolor Scholar pencils are what I have in here, which are like the student grade ones. And I have a bunch of these, so if I'm doing something in my sketchbook or like, I don't know, not as important, I guess, I'll use these. And I feel like people don't use the Scholar pencils very often, which is sad because they're almost as good as the Premier ones. I'd say the Premier pencils are more like opaque, but other than that, they're pretty much the same, so I don't get why people don't use them as much. And then these 3, even though the box is wrong, are all Black Widow pencils, which I never hear people talk about this brand, but like this brand is so good. I love these. So I have 3 sets. These are the light skin tones, and this is the dark skin tone, which I think it's really cool they made these sets. And they also come with like colors to shade them with. So this one has like a lot of pinks and stuff, and then this one has like some purples. I do kind of wish you could buy these like together instead of separate. I mean, maybe you can, but I had to get them separately. And I also don't have the box for the light skin tones anymore. I think I got rid of it, but we have this other box that works. Honestly, I mostly got these because they looked cool and I really liked the skin tone set. I was like, oh, that's so cool, I have a skin tone set. I believe Prismacolor has a skin tone set as well, but I don't have that. Yeah, anyway, so I got the skin tone set and I realized that I really liked them, so then I got this set. And yeah, I don't use these super often, but these are like really nice. After Prismacolor, these are my second favorite colored pencils. Now we got the giant thing. This is where I have all of my Prismacolor Premier pencils. I bought a bunch of different sets of 12 over time, and then I would go to the art store and I get like 2 or 3 ones. So I have a big collection now. We have the neutrals and the lighter neutrals. I feel like the Prismacolor Premier pencils, I feel like they do need some more skin tone colors because I can never find all the skin tone colors that I need. But yeah, I used to use colored pencils every single drawing. I don't use them as much anymore, but before I was good at like doing like tinier brush strokes, I would use them to do details over my watercolor paintings. I use them on top of markers and on top of gouache, but I don't use them that much anymore. Now I only use them if I mess up and I need to like draw over something. Another reason I don't use colored pencils much anymore is they're not light fast. So, you know, not like I'm some important artist that needs all my stuff to be archival, but I try. Okay. Here are my favorite watercolors. This was actually kind of hard to lower down. You might know I have a lot of watercolors. Yeah, I have too many watercolors, so these are my 3 favorite sets. So on the top here we have this little set of Daniel Smith, and I do really like this one because you can like take it out, which is nice. I don't know if the brand name of this is anywhere, like the palette, but I just got it off Amazon, and there actually wasn't a middle row, so I added that. Yeah, so this is my Daniel Smith set, and I just really like how like small and compact it is. And honestly, Daniel Smith isn't my favorite brand. I do have the most colors from them because that's what is at my art store. You know, they are made in the US, so that makes sense they sell them at the art stores. My favorite brand is probably my Magello watercolors, but I had to buy these online. I have their like 34 or 36, I think it's 36 set actually. And here they are. I actually have 2 different palettes with this exact same set. And it's because they I bought the set of tubes that came with a palette, but the palette is really big, so I didn't think I would like it that much, so I also bought myself a smaller set. But then it turned out I did like the bigger set, and I would use that all the time to the point where I had to refill it. But lately I actually like this one better, so you know. It's a good thing I got this one. And these ones are on magnets, which is cool. I do wish like the colors like came out like in this one. That would be nice. Yeah, and these are so much more pigmented than the Daniel Smith ones, which is why I like them better. And it's funny, whenever I haven't used them for a while, I forget. But like you just like get them wet and then you have to grab like the tiniest bit of paint. Otherwise you will have like paint overload. Like you have to use so much. You have to water it down so much too, which is funny. Yes, I love these. I do think a lot of them in this set are not light fast, but they have a pure pigment set, which are supposed to be better. I think. I don't know. I haven't tried that set, but I've seen people talk about it. Also with these, I did forget to mention, from what I've used, Daniel Smith ones are the ones that lift the least. Like once these dry, they are like permanently down, which is really nice. But since they're not as pigmented, I have to do way more layers with them versus the Magello ones. Yes, that's why Magello is still my favorite. But Daniel Smith ones are good. And these ones are Lucas watercolors, which I've never heard people like. I mean, I looked up some reviews of these before I got them. People don't really talk about this brand. But these ones are just as bright and pigmented as the Magello ones. And I don't have that many colors from them. I think I have like 12 or something, maybe less. But I really like this palette, and you can like, and you saw it fall out earlier, but you can like move this thing, so then you could use like this area if you wanted to too. And then I feel like this is like just the right amount of colors, and you use like the middle area. And it's just so nice. And actually, some of these are Daniel Smith, I should mention. Like I have a silver and gold in here. And then I think like 2 or 3 of the browns are Daniel Smith ones. And then these 2. This is Opera Pink, my favorite color of paint, which is not light fast, which is so sad. I did see a video of someone trying to mix like a light fast version. And I was like, I might need to get those paints. Because I love this one so much. This color, it's so pretty. Oh yeah, I just remembered this too. So actually the Lucas set that I got, it didn't come with like a red. So this color is Daniel Smith too. It came with like this pink and this orange. And I used to have to mix it to get a red. And it would drive me crazy. Yeah, so I put a red in here. Okay. We're almost done. So close. So we have the gouache category. And after watercolors, gouache is my next favorite medium. So I'm going to start with this. This is the Himi Mia gouache, the 18 colors. And I haven't used this in a video in a really long time. but I use these all the time. You can tell that I use them because they're still wet, like they haven't dried out like my other ones. I have a big set of these that I never use the bigger set because it just takes up so much room and it's annoying, but I really like this one. I don't have the set, but I wish I would have just gotten the 24 set instead of this one, because technically a lot of these colors are from my bigger set, and I like mixed and matched the colors because I didn't like the colors that came in here. Yeah, like I added this pink and this one, and I think both of these blues and this green, and I don't remember what else. I think that's it. Yeah, I swapped out a bunch of the colors. Here's the swatch card. Oh, I must have moved the colors around since I swatched this because this is not in the right order anymore. I don't know what color this is either. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, anyway, I use these all the time for like if I make a mistake and I need to paint over it, I'll use these. I have these in like a drawer right next to me that I can reach. So yeah, whenever I mess up, I grab these. And then if I mess up with these, I'll use colored pencils over top of it. That's the technique. Yeah, so I still use these all the time. Yeah, if I want to do something fancy, I'll use these. And I got this palette for them. Oh yeah, I also should mention this. Technically, this palette is supposed to fit in with it. But as like I've had this set, it just like kind of stopped closing with this inside, so I just don't put the mixing tray in it anymore. But it was supposed to fit, but it doesn't fit anymore. Yeah, so with the lid on, these are supposed to stay wet longer. Oh, here we got a nice little decapitated white tube. I'm gonna use all the paint in here. Yeah, I don't use these very often because I'm very precious with them, but these ones are a lot better than the Himi Mia gouache. The Himi Mia gouache like lifts up really easily. I say you got like, I don't know, 4 layers max before it starts coming off. So I do try to do like a watercolor base if I'm using the Himi Mia paints, just so they don't lift as easily. Or I could use like a base of markers, which works too. Yeah, these ones I haven't had a lifting problem with. Yeah, this is the Holbein gouache. I really want to use the Holbein gouache more though, because they're just like so good. I love them. Okay, last category, we have paper. Honestly, I think this category is kind of boring, but I'll tell you anyway because it's important. So this is my most used watercolor block. And if you don't know what a watercolor block is, it's basically just like a pad of paper, but it's glued around the edges. This one's only glued on 2 sides, which is these 2, and this side it's not glued. And I only have 2 left on here. And honestly, I don't like this one as much. This is the fluid cold pressed one. Because I'm almost out of this one. I got a hot pressed one. And hopefully I like that one better. The only reason I get this one is because it's like the cheapest one that's like still like good quality. So that's the one that I get. But I don't think I like this one much. So I also got, okay, I don't know how to say the brand name, but I got a watercolor block of this one too. And I do have a small sketchbook that is this brand, and I like the paper so far. So hope I like that one better. Also, check out how long this one is. This is gonna be so good for doing like outfit illustrations. I'm really excited. So once I use my other watercolor block, I'm gonna open these. I'm so excited to try them. Oh yeah, and this is the hot press version, so hopefully I like this one better. I'm just gonna do the giant watercolor paper first before I do the other kinds of paper to get this out of the way. But this is probably my favorite paper. This is the Fabriano paper. I think I got this for like a watercolor class that I didn't end up going to. But it's hot press, and I never liked hot press paper. I was always like, I'm cold press forever. But I actually like hot press better lately. And if you don't know the difference, hot press is smooth and then cold press is like textured. And I remember people talking about hot press was like better for painting portraits because like the skin stuff like looks smoother. And I was always like, nah, you're crazy. But I actually do like this one better, so that's funny. My all-time favorite sketchbooks. This is the Etcher watercolor sketchbook. This is my favorite sketchbook. It's really expensive though, which is sad, but the paper is really nice. So if I'm just like wanting to experiment, I'll probably use like Canson watercolor paper. But otherwise, I'll do it in here. I'll do like full illustrations in here. Here they are. I just started a new sketchbook, so I only have a couple pages. But yeah, I should probably cut these before I forget to do that again. Okay, this is my favorite mixed media sketchbook. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like the paper in here that much. I think the brand is like Artitech or something like that. I need like a brand name because I don't know. Oh, here we go. That's what it's called. Yeah, the paper in here isn't mixed media, it's just pencil paper. But I got this because the price was good and the size is my favorite. And I've gone through 2 of these. This is my second one. And I like the hardcover and I like the size, so that's why I get it. Paper is kind of meh, but it's fine. This is my all-time favorite paper. Ignore the Honey Nut Cheerios thing on it. You know, reuse, reduce, and recycle your Cheerio boxes. This is the Canson XL Mixed Media paper. I used to use these for my marker illustrations when I did marker. Oh, here's an old one. And now most of the time I won't draw in here just because it's so big, but I'll rip out pages, and if I have like a marker bleed or something, like, I don't know if I've done it yet in this sketchbook because this one's kind of new, but when I used to use markers all the time, oh, here's one. I'd like glue in this paper and then I'd use markers on top of it so it wouldn't bleed to the other side. Or if markers bled through, I'd glue it on so you couldn't see it. Yeah, and that's how I avoid bleed through. Hope you enjoyed. And, you know, like, comment, thanks for watching, subscribe, do those things. Check out my Redbubble store, linked in the description, where you can buy prints and stickers and stuff like that. But yeah, bye. See you next week. And now I have to clean up my mess.